Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine. Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine. Avatara varishtaya Ramakrishna te namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's Gospel class I have chosen the subject, Seeing is Realizing. So the man who has realized has a special way of seeing it, which ordinarily we don't be able to see. There was a very great saint in Karnataka state. During his training period, he lived for a while with the teacher. All the disciples would have to be with the teacher when they are getting training. So after the training period was over, the Guru wanted to test all the disciples in what manner they have acquired wisdom. So this teacher's name was Vyasatirtha, a very great realized holy person. So he called them all and gave to each one banana and asked all the devotees to go into solitude and eat that banana only on the condition it should not be seen by anybody. So all the disciples, different stages of improvement, they thought it's very easy to go to a secluded place and eat where nobody sees. But among them, there was one disciple who was looking like a block-headed, a fool. He was looking like a fool. Naturally, the other disciples, they used to tease him because he was behaving in a very unusual way, not like all others. So when this test was given, within a short time all the disciples returned except the so-called fool who returned later on. So the Guru was anxiously waiting for all the disciples to come. And finally, in the dark hours of night, the so-called foolish disciple who was behaving in a very different way, with fearful steps, he came and stood before the Guru. He was feeling a kind of shame. He stood at a distance from the Guru, and all the other disciples saw the fool standing at a distance, so they all began to laugh. But then the Guru was great, a highly spiritual illumined Guru, so he himself went near the disciple who was standing aloof at a distance, and then the Guru asked him why he failed to carry out his instruction. His instruction was to eat the banana in a place where nobody is seen. Why he could not do that? All others have done. But this particular boy, who was to become a very great saint later on, with tears flowing on his cheeks, he lifted up his head and mumbled, "Revered Sir, I tried in the darkest parts of the forest also, but I could not find a place where no one sees. At every place I found, the Lord is observing, the Lord is seeing." He meant God. The Guru was highly satisfied. He knelt down to reach the height of the foolish boy, his eyes blurred with tears. With choking voice, the Guru could only utter the words, "O blessed one, you have realized the truth." The story reveals a few truths to us. First, the boy saw the presence of God everywhere. Secondly, God also had seen him. It's not one way. So God had also seen him. That is the second point. Third point is, the intelligent ones did not see. Fourthly, the intelligent ones did not see means the other disciples who thought they are intelligent, referring to those disciples. Fourthly, the fool had full faith in the Guru and the scriptures. Fool means the foolish disciple, whom the others considered him as foolish, though he was not foolish. So that is how the disciple understood the meaning of seeing. How can there be any place without presence of God? As the Upanishad has declared, as and when the creation is projected, immediately it was filled up with God consciousness. The whole universe is filled with God consciousness. Only we have to become pure to realize it. One day Sri Ramakrishna was talking to a number of people from the Brahma Samaj. The famous Brahmo leader, his name Vivekananda Goswami, he was also one of the acharyas. He was present. The Brahmo's attitude towards God is, Brahman is Sagun with attributes, but formless. God without form, but has attributes. That is their concept. Sri Ramakrishna said to them, let me tell you one thing. God can be seen. To be an object of seeing, God must appear with a form. If seeing is believing, then God's form is a must. But the logicians protest. Earlier, Mahendranath Gupta, the compiler of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and a teacher of the logic, was fixed to hear that God can be both with form and without form. Influenced by the philosophy of the Brahmos, Mahendranath liked to think of God as formless. So it was a big shock to him to hear from Sri Ramakrishna that God could be with form also. God could be with form also. However, he was destined to be a chosen one for establishing Sri Ramakrishna's epoch-making mission on earth. So it did not take him long to accept his revolutionary truth. Sri Ramakrishna explained to him that it is well within God's power to assume any form and appear before his devotees. One can see his forms and his formless aspect as well. He is omnipotent. We can't dictate to him as to what he should do and what he should not. So Sri Ramakrishna made everything very clear in a very simple way, but effectively. Because Sri Ramakrishna himself was a realized person, so he could say things very confidently, without any iota of doubt. Scores of examples can be cited from the religious history of the world to show that God can be seen. Yet the doubt remains, is it possible to see God with these physical eyes, the organ for the sense of seeing? The importance of seeing God has been emphasized and highlighted in almost all religious traditions. Christ says, they shall see God. The Upanishads unequivocally bid, Atman has to be seen. Before showing his cosmic form to Arjuna, Lord Krishna bestowed the divine eye, divine chakshus, or the power of divine vision on him. The Lord said, Arjun, you can't have an experience of me merely with your physical eye. Natumam shakyase drashtu manenaiva swachakshusha. Dadami divya chakshus. I'll give a special vision to you so that you can see me and grasp. So it is clear that by the word see, a vision with the inner or divine eye is meant. That's how devotees see God with their divine power of vision. Though there is no indication of her having been granted a divine supernatural eye, Yashoda Devi, the mother of Lord Krishna, saw the whole creation in child Krishna's tiny mouth. Shri Krishna didn't grant him special eyes to see. Similarly, Garud, the mighty mount of Bhagavan Vishnu, he saw the form of Vishnu in Sri Ramchandra. Another example, Acharya Shankar, he saw the form of Shiva in a Chandala, an untouchable, low caste person. Dhruva saw Vishnu appear before him with a form. Ramanuja saw Varadaraja in the image. There's a famous Varadaraja temple in Kanchipuram. He would see Varadaraja Swami and he would converse with him. Martha and Mary saw Christ after his resurrection. Sri Ramakrishna's mother Chandramani Devi saw a goddess mounted on a swan. Sri Ramakrishna's devotee Gopalar Ma, Agormani Devi, used to have regular vision of Gopala, baby Krishna. And above all, Sri Ramakrishna used to see Mother Kali and consult her as and when he wanted to. Therefore, the gift of the phenomenon of seeing God is that though God appeared with form, the devotees required some sort of a supernatural eye to see him. Otherwise, anybody around them at that time would also have seen him. Muchukunda in the Bhagavatam helps us to remove the doubt. He says, I consider you to be Mahavishnu, the Lord of the Trimurti, who is above all divinities. The brilliance of thy form is dispelling all darkness from this cave of intellect, like a glowing light. By his mere glance, all of Muchukunda's doubts were destroyed. So he could recognize that he was face to face with Vishnu. But at the same time, look at the fate of Duryodhana and his brothers. They also saw Krishna. When Duryodhana wanted to capture Krishna, who came with the peace proposal as the emissary of the Pandavas, Shri Krishna showed his cosmic form, Vishwarupa Darshan, he gave. But alas, Duryodhana mistook it for a magic. A disappointed Krishna said in the Gita, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Without knowing my higher nature, foolish people disregard me. While speaking about the devotion of the gopis to Shri Krishna, Narad says in the Bhakta Sutras, Na tatra mahatmya jnana vismriti apavadaha. There is no blame as to their losing awareness about His glory. So it is required that before seeing God, we must have our mind purified, not to appreciate the divinity in the form of God. Again, we are faced with a question that needs to be addressed. It is seeing God without form. The idea seems to be absurd. Yet, if the divine eye can help us to see God with form, there must be a way for seeing God without form. The inner eye helps us. It does not require a physical milieu. Dhritarashtra was blind. Vyasa offered to equip him with supernatural eyes to enable him to view the battle of Kurukshetra live. But wisely enough, Dhritarashtra did not want to see for himself his own people being killed in the war. So seeing God with form and also without form will hold good even in the case of blind people. They also shall see him. The Upanishads require a person even with sight to be Avritta Chakshuhu, that is, having his eyes covered, or the group of organs beginning with the eyes turned away from all sense objects. The eyes must make a U-turn. That seeing is like our seeing things in a dream. In this context, of course, no dream experience is meant. It happens when a person is wide awake. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the sage Yajnavalkya replies to such a question asked by King Janak. When the sun and the moon have both set, the fire gone out, and speech stopped, what exactly serves as a light for a man? Yajnavalkya replied, the self serves as his light. Atma evasya jyotir bhavati. Akshay Kumar Sen said to Ramakrishna, Master, I am blind. The Master replied, God exists. That is, you might be blind, but God has eyes to see you. He has got his eyes to see you. It's all right when a devotee is granted a vision by God. Devotees are attracted to him even by the beauty of his eyes. He has long, beautiful eyes, which are like the mark on the ventral side of a lotus leaf, Kamalapatraksha. If by a rare good fortune a person is able to see the beauty of his eyes, he or she cannot tear off his or her eyes away from him. Once during a festival, Dhanurdasa, a devotee of Lord Varadaraja of Kanchipuram, and also a disciple of Ramanujacharya, he was lost in the beauty of his wife's eyes. He was charmed by the beauty of his wife's eyes. Dhanurdasa came with his wife to join the chariot festival of the Lord. Sri Ramanuja noticed his misfortune. Drawing his attention, Ramanuja said, Dhanurdasa, look at the eyes of the Lord. As if waking up from a dream, Dhanurdasa did as directed. What did he see? Well, we do not know, but Dhanurdasa could not even wink for a long time, and perhaps for the rest of his life. He was so charmed by the beauty of the eyes of the Lord. But if he wishes to play with the devotees and he sees the devotee, then there may be problems. He knows all our karmas. Vishwani Vayunani Vidwan. So, he takes a liking for a devotee in view of his or her goodness. An absorbing story of God, seeing the devotee, will not be out of place here. In ancient time, a small girl used to love Lord Banke Bihari of Vrindavan. Every day she used to make a flower garland for the image of Banke Bihari. She would go to the temple, look intently at the image, give the garland to the priest and come back home. That was her regular routine. She would do every day like that. Gradually, the deity in the temple grew a liking for a small devotee of his. One day, he talked with the devotee. That means the Lord, the Divine Lord, talks with this young girl and expressed his desire to visit her house at night. She was asked to keep it a secret. Banke Bihari reached her house at night. The girl was beside herself with joy. He told her she should leave him before dawn. The simple girl made new garlands and adorned him, sang to her heart's content to please him, danced in ecstatic joy. Both the Lord and the devotee forgot the environment. Suddenly they heard violent knocks at the door. It was daybreak. The whole night is passed this way, in a joyous way. The priests, seeing the temple door ajar and the image lost, the image was not there, followed some tiny footsteps that led them to the house of this girl. She answered the door. As soon as the door was opened, she saw the enraged priests. She looked back. What did she see? She saw the image of the Lord which was in the temple. He is lying blissfully in her bedstead. Though the priest tormented the girl for stealing the image, in their heart of hearts they knew that it was impossible for the small girl to even move the heavy stone image. Further, Did they not see the door unbolted from inside? And above all, did they not see the tiny footprints? That is the Banke Bihari, footprints were tiny. So that means the Lord himself has come out. Then he is observing, and everything and everybody as a witness. He knows everything to be known, but he has no knower. Saveti vedyan nacha tasya asti vetta. To an aspirant of pure intellect, he is known with every modification of the mind, as the observer, as the free witness. Pratibodha viditam. He is omniscient, sarvatokshihi. Bhagavad Gita says. Nobody can escape his eye. We may not see him, but he sees us. He knows our ins and outs. His omnipresence has been propounded by the Upanishads abundantly. All this is Brahman, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. The story reveals another vital aspect of seeing God. It is not intelligence, but the heart that counts in the phenomenon of seeing God. The purer the heart, the better is the chance of seeing Him. One should be really simple to see God. Mark the word really simple. That means you should not have any kind of egoism. Egoism is a stumbling block in the spiritual practice. One should definitely take whatever steps needed to uproot the egoism. Sri Ramakrishna says that simplicity is achieved after long austerities of many lives. Sanandana, a great disciple, one of the Shankaracharya had four primary disciples. Sanandana was one of them. A disciple of Acharya Shankar. His duty was only to serve his Guru. The other brilliant disciples of Shankara did not recognize the simple devotion of this Sanandana to his Guru. They didn't know. One day, Sanandana was away on the other bank of the river, Alkananda. Alkananda is a branch of Ganges water, bank of Ganges, Alkananda river. So on the other side, the disciple was there. On this side of the river, Shankaracharya was staying with his disciples. Immediately Shankaracharya, requiring his help, called out to him, "Oh Sanandan, come, I need your help immediately, come." Hearing his Guru's call, Sanandana, oblivious of the surroundings, ran to the Guru. He did not think anything but the Guru's instructions, and he just followed it up explicitly. He ran over the water because he has to cross the river. Alkananda is a running river. He ran over the water of the river. The most amazing part is the river rose to the occasion, as it were, by offering a full-blown lotus under each step of his. The other disciples could not believe their eyes. From that day, Sanandana came to be known as Padmapada. Padma means lotus, Pada means foot. Each step had a lotus. So, later on, it is his annotation known as Panchapadika on Shankara's commentary of the Brahma Sutras that has given rise to the famous Advaitic school of Vivarana. So blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. The secret of their seeing God lies in their unwavering faith in the words of the Guru and the scriptures. The Guru teaches all the disciples without discrimination or favoritism, perhaps with just a little admiration for the intelligent ones. The truth contained in the scriptures, he explains to everyone. He tells all of them that God has his eyes everywhere, Sarvatokshi, and he is omnipresent. The intelligent ones can convincingly explain to others the meaning of the words, but it is the simple and pure in heart who are blessed with this vision. However, the vision of God is not to be had with these physical eyes. Sri Ramakrishna goes so far as to say that God can be seen with naked eyes. Khali choke dekha jaye. Khali choke dekha jaye. He went still further and said to Narendranath, yes, I see him just as I see you here, only in a much intenser sense. This phrase, in a much intenser sense, holds the key to our understanding vision of God. Kathopanishad says, Yatha darshe tathatmani, yatha swapne tatha pitraloke, yathapsu puri pariva dadrishe, tatha gandharvaloke, chaya tapayoriva brahmaloke. As one sees oneself very distinctly, reflected in a mirror, so there springs a vision of the reality in one's intellect. As in a dream, so in the world of the Mayans, Pitras. As it is seen in water, so in the world of the Gandharvas. As it is in the case of light and shade, so in the world of Brahma. The phrase in a much intenser sense means not seeing with physical eyes, but knowing him, realizing him without doubt. We may see a man, but we do not know him. On the other hand, when we know God, we know him to be our own. We see him, know him, and realize him. There is no difference between the apparent God and the real God. Sri Ramakrishna did not stop there. He continued, God can be realized. One can see and talk to him as I am talking to you. Swami reflected on this saying. For the first time I found a man who dared to say that he had seen God, that religion was a reality to be felt, to be sensed in an infinitely more intense way than we sense the world. The realization of seeing God has not been depicted so vividly in the lives of other saints, prophets or incarnations of God as in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. The world owes its privilege to Sri Ramakrishna himself, for he did not keep it a secret. He said, I shall disclose it publicly. Why not? It's a universal truth and all have equal right to know it. However, in his life itself, Sri Ramakrishna realized, or rather demonstrated, the meaning of seeing God in a much intenser sense. His seeing God had been in four levels or aspects. First, his first vision was that the mother caught hold of his hand to stop him from killing himself. He used to see that the eyes of the image of the mother winked. Second, he said, I swear upon God, there is nothing in this body, referring to his body, except the mother. Third, as Shankara saw God in a Chandala, an untouchable, Sri Ramakrishna not only saw Narayan in human beings, but also saw the Mother Kali in a cat. Can we remember how Ganesha, a son of Mother Durga, remained a celibate all his life because his mother told him that she was in all female forms, even in the female cat? Fifthly, Sri Ramakrishna in course of his first vision saw that all the worship vessels were permeated with consciousness. When somebody walked on grass, Sri Ramakrishna felt as if someone were walking on his chest. When a boatman bet another boatman, Sri Ramakrishna felt the blow himself and bore the blue mark on his back. So, in a much intenser sense, seeing is realizing. Seeing is realizing. Page 889. In Sri Ramakrishna one finds all the attitudes of ideals of religion. That's why people of all sects and creeds enjoy peace and blessedness in his presence. Who can fathom his feeling and tell us the depth of his inner experience? Doctor said, all things to all men. I don't approve of it, although Saint Paul says it. Yam said, who can understand the state of his mind? We have heard from him that unless one is engaged in the yarn trade, one cannot tell the difference between number 40 and number 41 yarn. Only a painter can appreciate another painter. The mind of a saint is very deep. One cannot understand all the aspects of Christ unless one is Christ-like. Perhaps the deep realization of the Master is that what Christ meant when he said, "Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." Doctor said, "What arrangements have you made about having him nursed?" M said, "At present one of the older devotee is assigned every day to look after him. It may be Girish Babu or Ram Babu or Balram or Suresh Babu or Navagopal or Kali Babu. It is that way." It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the doctor and M entered the Master's room on the second floor. Sri Ramakrishna sat there, smiling as usual, completely forgetful of the fateful illness which was eating his life away. Among the many devotees in the room were Girish, the younger Narain and Sharat. Sometimes they were motionless like the snake before its charmer, and sometimes they displayed great joy like the bridal party with the bridegroom. The doctor and M bowed low before the Master and sat on the floor. At the sight of the doctor, the Master said, laughing, "Today I have been feeling very well." Then the Master went on with his soul-enthralling conversation. Master said, "What will mere scholarship accomplish without discrimination and renunciation? I go into a strange mood while thinking of the lotus feet of God. The cloth of my body drops to the ground and I feel something creeping up from my feet to the top of my head. In that state I regard all as mere straw. If I see a Pandit without discrimination and love of God, I regard him as a bit of straw." One day, Dr. Ramnarayan had been arguing with me when suddenly I went into that mood. I said to him, "What are you saying? What can you understand of God by reasoning? How little you can understand of His creation. Shame. You have the pettifogging mind of a weaver." Seeing the state of my mind, he began to weep and gently stroked my feet. Doctor said, "Ramnarayan did that because he is a Hindu. Besides, he is a believer in flowers and sandal paste. He is an orthodox Hindu." M said to himself, "Dr. Sarkar says that he has nothing to do with gong and conch shells." Master said, "Bankim is one of your Pandits. I met him once. I asked him, what's the duty of man? And he had the impudence to say, eating, sleeping, and sex gratification. These words created in me a feeling of great aversion. I said, "What are you saying? You are very mean. What you think day and night and what you do all the time come out through your lips. If a man eats radish, he blushs radish." Then we talked about God a great deal. There was also much devotional music in the room, and I danced. Then Bankim said to me, "Sir, please come to our house once." "That depends on the will of God," I replied. There also, he said, "You will find devotees of God." I laughed and said, "What kind of devotees are they? Are they like those who said, 'Gopala, Gopala'?" A beautiful story. So as long as one maintains purity level, he will maintain simplicity. If the purity level, if there is anything goes bad in that purity level, then things change. So God gives vision, He bestows grace, you will enjoy peace and bliss. It goes on. In order to stabilize that, you have to maintain your life properly. That's your job. Maintaining your spiritual practices and studies intact. So if you follow strictly those things, then they remain with you. Otherwise it will be past experience. You had that previously, now you don't have. So Gopalarma, for example, Agormani Devi, she used to repeat Krishna's name all the time whenever she would come back from her duties. So much so, Gopal manifested in her home as a baby Krishna. And she used to carry the child. And Sri Ramakrishna said, "You want come and meet me." So not to meet him, she has to cross the Ganga. She has to take the boat and cross. But where to keep the child? She was keeping the child all through in her arms. The child was heavy. But still, she carried and came, and then she kept the baby on the floor, and then she made pranam. By the time she raised up, she saw the child crawling and merging into Sri Ramakrishna. And then she realized Sri Ramakrishna is none other than her own Gopala. And throughout her life, her whole body was full of Krishna only. And how blessed she was, she left her body lying on the lap of Holy Mother. She was a child widow, but had a glorious spiritual heritage. So like that. See, unless you have purity, you will not be able to recognize the glory of God. See the example, take the example of Lord Krishna himself, the Supreme God himself. But Shishupala would not recognize that. He would always abuse him. Shishupala, in fact, at the time of Rajasuya Yaga, when the question came, first puja to be offered to whom? First offering worship. Bhishmacharya said, who else but Lord Krishna? Go and offer worship to him. And when Dharmaraj went to offer worship, Shishupala got up and made a hue and cry. So even though God himself is present, but he is not able to realize the glory of God. Same way Duryodhana also. So that means mind is to be purified. If the mind is purified, everything is done. Everything is done. The simplicity. Of course we have to, God also loves to glorify the devotee. So in order to glorify the devotee, God gives some tests so that he proves well. So like that story goes. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, who only lost raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when the heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good pervade all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour in time, may the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamities, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe is satisfied.